Have you ever reached the end of your day, your body aching with exhaustion, your mind a blur, and yet you have the sinking feeling that you've achieved nothing of true importance? You feel like you've been running a marathon, but you haven't moved an inch. You organize more, you schedule tighter, you push harder, but the finish line of peace, the satisfaction, just seems to move further away. This feeling, this chronic, draining sense of fighting an uphill battle, is the silent epidemic of our time. We treat its symptoms with temporary fixes, or we can get away, a new series to binge watch, a brief distraction that offers a moment of relief, only for the weight to come crashing back down on Monday morning, perhaps even heavier than before. What if I told you that this exhaustion is not a necessary price for living in the modern world? What if I told you it is not your schedule, your job, or your responsibilities that are the true source of this endless battle? It is a single, fundamental error in our approach to life, a deadly mistake that most of us make every single day, without even realizing it. A mistake that has been woven into the fabric of our culture. This mistake is the belief that our inner peace is a prize to be won from the outer world. You have been taught, since we were children, that to be happy, to be secure, to be at peace, we must arrange the world around us perfectly. We must get the right job, find a perfect partner, have the ideal finances, and ensure that everyone around us behaves exactly as we expect them to. And so, we spend our entire lives, our precious energy, trying to control the uncontrollable. This is the invisible war. You are at war with traffic. You are at war with the opinion of your colleague. You are at war with the weather on your vacation day. You are at war with your partner's mood. You are at war with the future, desperately trying to predict and manipulate every possible outcome to avoid pain and guarantee pleasure. Every moment spent in frustration, in anxiety, in anger about something you cannot change is a battle in this war. And in this war, you are guaranteed to lose, because you are waging a war against reality itself. Imagine you are the captain of a ship in the middle of the ocean. The deadly mistake is to stand on the deck, shaking your fist at the sky, screaming at the storm, trying to command the waves to be still and the wind to cease. It is an act of pure futility. It will do nothing but exhaust you, purify you, and make you feel utterly powerless before the immense force of the ocean. You are fighting the very nature of the sea. The true master, the wise captain, does not waste a single breath trying to calm the ocean. The master accepts the existence of the storm. It is part of the journey. Instead of fighting the external, the master turns their attention to the internal, to the only things they can truly command. The rudder, the sails, the integrity of their own ship. The master focuses on mastering the art of sailing. Most of us are living our lives as the screaming sailor, furious at the storm. We blame the waves for our lack of peace. We blame the wind for our fear. We try to control a universe that is, by its very nature, uncontrollable, and the cost is immense. It is the energy you don't have to be present with your loved ones at the end of the day. It is the mental clarity you lose, leading to poor decisions. It is the constant, low-level anxiety that hums beneath the surface of everything you do, robbing you of joy. It is a life lived in a state of constant reaction. Instead of conscious, deliberate action, you are fighting a battle on 1,000 fronts, every single day. But the enemy is not what you think it is. The enemy is not outside of you. To win this war and reclaim your peace, your energy, and your power, you must first understand the battlefield. And that battlefield is inside your own mind. It is not just philosophy, it is biology, it is psychology. And understanding it is the first step to laying down your arms and finally finding true, unshakable peace. So, we have established the invisible war, the constant struggle to control an uncontrollable world, and the immense exhaustion it creates. This isn't a weakness. It is a deeply ingrained human habit. But to change a habit, you must first understand how it is wired within you. This is where ancient wisdom meets modern science. Inside your body, at this very moment, there is a magnificent and complex system responsible for your survival. It is the autonomic nervous system. Think of it as having two primary modes of operation. The first is the fight or flight mode, the sympathetic nervous system. This is your internal alarm system, When your brain perceives a threat, a predator in the wild, or in the modern world, an angry email from your boss, it floods your body with hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, your senses heighten. You are ready for battle. This system is designed for short, intense bursts of action to save your life. The second mode is the rest and digest mode, the parasympathetic nervous system. This is your state of peace, healing, and restoration. Your heart rate slows, your digestion works properly, your body repairs itself. This is where you are meant to spend most of your time. Now, here is the crucial link. Every time you worry about the future, every time you get frustrated by traffic, every time you argue with reality, your brain does not distinguish between a real saber-toothed tiger and a perceived threat to your control. It presses the same alarm button. The mistake of trying to control the external world keeps your fight-or-flight system perpetually activated. You are living in a low-grade, chronic state of emergency. That exhaustion you feel, that is the physical cost of keeping your internal engine running at redline 24/7. Your body is preparing for a battle that never comes, because the battle is against an abstract concept, the way you think things should be. This isn't just theory, it's measurable biology, and the way our brains learn this pattern is equally fascinating. In the field of neuroscience, there is a foundational principle first articulated in 1949 by Canadian neuropsychologist Dr. Donald Hebb. It is often summarized as neurons that fire together, wire together. Think of your brain not as a static object, but as a dynamic landscape of neural pathways, like trails in a forest. Every time you have a thought or perform an action, a specific set of neurons fires. It's like walking down a particular trail. The first time, the path is faint, but if you walk down that same path with that same thought of I need to control this, or this shouldn't be happening, day after day, the path becomes deeper. It becomes a well-worn. Eventually, this pathway becomes so strong that your reaction is automatic. The traffic jam happens, and instantly, without conscious thought, your brain speeds down the stress and anger highway. It becomes your default reaction. You have, quite literally, wired your brain for stress. Dr. Hebb's research at Mobile University laid the groundwork for our modern understanding of neuroplasticity, the incredible ability of the brain to reorganize itself. But this gift is neutral. It means you can wire your brain for anxiety, just as you can wire it for peace. The tragedy is that most of us are unconsciously reinforcing the wires of our own suffering. This scientific reality is mirrored perfectly in the world of psychology, with a concept known as locus of control, developed by Julian B. Rotter in the 1950s. A person with an external locus of control believes their life is dictated by outside forces. Luck, fate, other people. They feel powerless. There's nothing I can do, is their manual. Unsurprisingly, studies consistently link an external locus of control with higher levels of stress, anxiety, and even depression. They are the sailor screaming at the storm. A person with an internal locus of control, however, believes that they are the primary driver of their own life. They understand that while they cannot control events, they have full control over their response to those events. They are the master of their ship. They possess a deep, quiet power. So you see, the chains that bind you are not made of iron. They are forged from neural pathways and reinforced by your beliefs. They are self-imposed. And this is the most empowering news you could ever receive. Because if you forge these chains, then you also hold the tools to break them. You are not a victim of your stress. You are, unknowingly, its creator. And therefore, you can become the creator of your peace. The path to doing this is not through more struggle, but through a fundamental shift in your approach. A shift from external control to internal mastery. This is the Shaolin way. We now stand at a critical turning point. We have seen the war, the futile struggle against the external. We have understood the science, the neural wiring and psychological beliefs that forge our own chains. To know this is to hold a map, but a map is useless if you do not take the first step on the path. The path out of this war is not another battle. It is not about fighting your thoughts, suppressing your emotions, or forcing yourself to be positive. This is simply trading one form of internal conflict for another. The true path, the Shaolin way, is a path of profound release. It is the shift from control to mastery. These two words may seem similar, but they are universes apart. Control is rigid. It is tense. It is rooted in fear. The fear that if things are not exactly as we wish, we will suffer. Control is the clenched fist, desperately trying to hold on to water. The more you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers, and all you are left with is an aching hand. Mastery is flexible. It is a debt. It is rooted in trust. Trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Mastery is the open hand, which allows the water to flow freely, to be felt, to be understood, without needing to possess it. So how do we cultivate this mastery? We begin by embracing a core principle. You cannot move the mountain, but you can master the path you walk upon it. Imagine your life's challenges, a difficult relationship, a stressful project, an uncertain future as a great mountain in front of you. The path of control is to stand at the base of this mountain, exhausting yourself by trying to push it out of your way. It is madness. The mountain will not yield. You will only break yourself against its unmoving stone. The path of mastery is to accept the mountain is there. You do not have to like the mountain. You do not have to approve of its existence. You simply have to acknowledge the reality of it. And then, with this acceptance, you turn your full attention to the only thing you have power over: your own steps. You can choose to find a path around the mountain. You can choose to develop the skill and strength to climb it. You can choose to rest at its base and appreciate the shade it provides. The mountain does not dictate your choice. You do. This is the essence of inner freedom. It is the realization that while you may have no power over the circumstances of your life, you have absolute power over your response to them. This is not a passive surrender. It is the ultimate act of empowerment. You stop being a victim of your life and become its navigator. To begin this practice, we do not start with the great mountains. We start with the smallest of pebbles. We start with the one thing that is always with you, the anchor to the present moment, your breath. I want to share with you a simple, yet profound Shaolin technique. I call it the 3 breaths of clarity. You can use it anywhere, at any time, the very moment you feel the familiar tension of trying to control the uncontrollable. When you feel that surge of frustration, that knot of anxiety, more. Just for a moment, take the first breath, a slow, deep inhale. As you breathe in, your only job is to acknowledge the reality of the situation, without judgment, without resistance. Simply say to yourself, this is, if you are stuck in traffic. The thought is, if you are stuck in traffic, if someone has upset you, feel upset, you are not condoning it. You are simply dropping the rope in your tug of war against reality. Inhale acceptance of what is. Now, the second breath, as you inhale again, you bring your awareness to the only thing you can truly command: yourself, your posture, the tension in your shoulders, your own thoughts. This breath is about reclaiming your power. The thought here is, I am here. You are reminding yourself that you are the captain of the ship, not a helpless passenger being tossed by the waves. You are separate from the situation. You are the observer of it. And now, the third and final breath. As you inhale, you consciously choose your response. Instead of a mindless reaction, you ask yourself, what is the most skillful action I can take right now? The answer may be to say nothing. It may be to change your perspective. It may be to take one small, constructive step. This breath is about intention. You are no longer reacting based on old wiring. You are responding from a place of calm, conscious mastery. 3 breaths. That is all it takes to step out of the storm and onto the calm, steady deck of your own ship. This is, I am here. I choose. This is not a magic trick. It will not make the traffic disappear. It will not change other people's minds. Its purpose is far more important than that. It rewires your brain. Every time you practice this, you are weakening the old, automatic pathway of stress and strengthening a new neural pathway of calm, conscious response. You are, quite literally, using neuroplasticity to your advantage. You are walking down a new trail in the forest. At first, the path will be faint. Your old habits will be strong. But with consistent practice, this new path of mastery will become your default. Peace will become your new automatic reaction. This is the work, and this is how you transform your entire reality, not by changing the world outside, but by mastering the world within. We have traveled a path together in these last few minutes. We started in the fog of an invisible war, feeling the exhaustion of a battle we didn't even know we were fighting. We journeyed through the landscape of the mind, witnessing how our own brains and beliefs can forge the very chains that hold us captive. And we arrived at a turning point, the profound, simple shift from external control to internal mastery. Now, we stand at the end of this talk, but at the true beginning of your practice, and I want you to paint a picture in your mind. What does life actually look like when you lay down your arms in this invisible war? It looks like the morning, waking up and feeling not a sense of dread for the battles ahead, but a quiet, centered readiness for the day's journey, whatever it may bring. It looks like your relation, engaging in conversations where you are truly listening, where you seek to understand rather than to win. It is the ability to love someone, to support them, without needing them to be anything other than who they are. It is the end of emotional dependency. It looks like your work, facing challenges with a clear mind, unclouded by the fog of anxiety and frustration. Making decisions from a place of wisdom, not reaction. You become more effective, more creative, and more resilient, not by pushing harder, but by moving with a powerful sense of inner calm. This transformation does not mean that the ocean of life will suddenly become still. The storms will still come. The waves of unexpected events will still rise. The difference is that you will no longer be a terrified sailor being thrown about by the chaos. You will be the captain, standing firmly at the helm, your hands steady on the rudder, navigating with skill and grace. You will have found the unshakable ground within yourself. This is not a promise of a life without problems. It is the promise of a life where you are bigger than your problems. But let me be clear, this is not a switch that you flip overnight. The neural pathways of worry and control have been carved over decades. They are deep. This, the practice of mastery, of choosing your response, of taking your 3 breaths of clarity, is the patient, compassionate art of carving a new riverbed for your thoughts. One drop, one breath at a time. There will be days you youth. There will be moments the old habits take over, and you find yourself screaming at the storm once more. In those moments, do not judge yourself. Do not declare failure. There is the old way. The way of mastery is to simply notice, smile with the wisdom of self-awareness, and begin again, with the very next breath. This is the true meaning of strength. It is not the absence of struggle. It is the gentle, persistent returning to your center, again and again. And in doing so, you will discover what real power is. The world has taught us that power is domination, the ability to impose your will upon the external world. This is a fragile, brittle power. It is the power of a king who lives in constant fear of losing his crown. True power is internal. It is the silent, unbreakable strength of the mountain that can withstand any storm, not by fighting it, but by simply being itself. True power is the freedom to choose your response in any given moment. It is the knowledge that while you cannot control anything, you can handle anything. This is the peace that is not dependent on circumstances. This is the peace that becomes the very core of your being. And so, your journey does not end here. It begins now, in the very next moment of your life. Your first challenge, your first act of mastery, is simply to notice, to catch yourself in the act of trying to control the uncontrollable. In that moment, don't fight it. Just pause and take your 3 breaths. The space below this video is not just a place for comments. Think of it as a training ground, a shared space for the captains of their own ship. When you have a moment of clarity, when you successfully choose mastery over control for the first time, you might feel the call to share that small victory, not for applause, but as a testament to your own journey, a declaration of your own peace treaty with reality. Your new life is waiting. Take a deep breath and begin.